Okay.
We're live.
Woo!
Woo! Yay!
Woo!
Yeah, we're on. We're live.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
And all of my fluff and stuff. Okay.
Cool.
All right, so welcome to the March Changeling live show. Charles, of course, is running behind.
He'll be here.
He'll be here eventually.
Here soon.
Yeah, he has a lot going on, so I guess
Charles
we'll go
always has a
around
lot going on.
Yeah, always. Yeah, always. So I guess we'll go around and introduce ourselves and our channels, and then we will go from there. Hi, I'm Carrie. I am on Fantastically Taboo Books. I read pretty much all kinds of romance and smut and fantasy. And this is my channel. So welcome, everybody.
Hi, I'm Megan, or Meowth Vader, and I read almost exclusively paranormal or manga. That's what I'm realizing about myself. It's not urban fantasy, paranormal, or manga.
Yeah.
I just don't read it.
I'm Steph from Novelty Corner, and I'm very similar, except I'll take out manga and swap it for sci-fi. So sci-fi, romance, urban fantasy, or paranormal romance, and I'm good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ezra from I Heart Romance, and I guess I love romance, so I read anything romance. I think I've read mostly historical and contemporary, but I've actually dabbled in every possible genre of romance.
Okay. And we read 7, 8, and 9.
We did.
So how did you guys feel about them overall?
We did.
I was lukewarm on 7, but I did almost cry. I liked 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I do not have notes.
I liked 7 from an expanding the world perspective, but 8 and 9 I really liked, and 9 is a favorite for sure.
Yeah.
9 is a favorite. This one was a 5-star. 7. I was a little meh on this one. This one was, I think, boring to me.
Yeah.
But I can't. The kids, I can't. And then Judd with the kids. Judd needs to have a kid.
Judd needs to have a kid.
Actually, that's the one thing about this series, and I was thinking about it, having just read the next book, is like I don't generally like kids in books, but they're actually done really well, and it doesn't matter what age the kids are in this series, because we've got very young kids and we've got late teenagers, and they all feel very natural and like they belong in the story rather than detracting from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're not written like too childish if they're like teenagers, or like too smart if they're young.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're written really well. Like the kids are kids in the story, like especially like Roman and I forgot his name.
Julian.
Yeah, Julian and Roman. Like they're kids.
Yeah.
So
and
they're part of the story. They're integral to the plot too, but they do kid things. They're not, you know. Yeah, I'm almost done with book 10, and with book 10 you can also see more with the kids, like in different ages.
Yeah. Should we go through each book like we did last time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I remember?
Can you remember? So Blaze of Memory, which is Dev and Katya's book.
Yeah.
and is when Dev basically ends up with this has the amnesia trope as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Katia doesn't have any memory of who she is, but she's actually from book 4.
4.
Four?
Oh no, not book 4. The
Yeah,
previous book.
Oh, the previous book, book 3. No,
Yeah.
it was book 4 because book 3 is Judd's book.
Yeah,
So
so book 4.
it's book 4 and book 5.
Yes. She's the random, like she's not a random Psy, but she's the Psy involved with, oh my god, I forgot their
She's
names.
Ashia's
Shia.
Ashaya, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So she was Ashia's lab tech who sort of disappeared at the end of that book, and they didn't know where she'd gone. They thought she was dead.
Yeah.
And
But I did not expect that she would have her own book.
Mhm.
But I really love how that was added in, because the Psy Council person involved in this book, Ming Lavon, is also something else,
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
and is in future books.
Mhm.
Well, this future book,
The cop is
Yeah.
and
Max.
he's important. Yes.
Yeah.
Right? That's his name. Okay.
Yeah, Matt Shannon.
Max.
Actually, it's interesting that both of those characters were introduced in book 4.
Yeah.
So
Slowly.
yeah,
Yeah,
Max
because Dev, isn't he he's the Shine Foundation leader,
He's the
right?
president. Yeah.
He's the president.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I really like about this book too is that we get more information about the Shadow Net and how it's very similar to the PsyNet, but also because they're already diluted Psy. It's not as strong as the PsyNet, but it still functions like the same thing.
Right.
And that was really interesting to add.
Yeah.
I found it interesting that it had evolved so much that it couldn't sustain a Psy who's been in the Psy.
A pure Psy anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say, but also the fact that the Psy and the Shadow Net have evolved, and their powers or their abilities are more reflective of the current time and things that are needed now. So they're less like the telepaths, telekinetics, the general abilities, but they actually are more targeted towards how the community has evolved itself, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Again, very interesting. I wasn't expecting it really, because it's just like I knew there was a Shadow Net, but I didn't expect the Shadow Net to be that expensive, complicated, thought out.
Yeah.
So and I really love now I'm forgetting the kids' names. I need to I didn't bring my notes today, but
Nor?
Who?
Nor.
Yes.
Nor and Keenan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, because she was rescued in the previous book, and then we find out what her real abilities are.
Yeah.
And that actually, I cried in this book. I broke down during that scene because I didn't expect it. I was like, I don't know. She's about to die. She's probably going to heal because she's a Psy, but I did not expect.
Yeah. Nor and Keenan.
Nor and
were
Keenan.
so
Oh
sweet.
my God, they're so cute.
I think that was
And I
probably
love
my favorite thing in the whole book.
That was the
also-
best thing.
I do love that
That
Keenan's
was
like,
the
I'm going to marry
one
her.
scene.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so. That was the one scene that made it a 5-star read for me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that and Judd's scene with Will.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Judson and Will.
Oh, yeah.
That one almost broke me. I think I almost cried. I'm like you. Oh my God.
But it was fascinating because Nor had at one point, I think it was Nor, at one point talked to Judd about them being similar, and he didn't understand why she'd said that. And like he had all the best scenes with the kids in this book. Because they had that conversation, and it, like, in relation to the fact that they can both use their powers to fix things, but he didn't realize that at the time because they didn't really know what she was capable of doing.
No,
And then
I think it was just Keenan who knew.
Yeah. And then the scene, and then after Judd has been working with Will that night, the scene with Will and his parents, and they're like, just the fact that they got their boy back the next day it was such a lovely scene. And Nalini Singh just puts these little scenes into the books that don't necessarily add to the major plot that's happening, but are just these little pockets of scenes that are just beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful for character development for everybody.
Long-term character development.
And I'm thinking maybe she's going to use them in future books too.
Fingers crossed.
You know,
I want to see all the kids grown up. I just want to see all the kids as teenagers or adults, because there's so many kids now, and I'm just like, I want to know.
There are. I really like to get Julian and Roman and Keenan.
Oh, what's his name? Ben.
Yeah.
Ben. I love
Ben. Yeah, Ben.
I really want to see Ben.
And I want to know more about Will, because I have a feeling he'll play in a book. He'll have a book somewhere, or I'll have some important, because why was it added? And yeah, I feel like I want to know more about him. I was really intrigued. And then of course I want to know more about Ming. This was the book where the arrows not defected, but the arrows stopped following Ming, right? Or was it the next book?
I think it was the next
It's the next book.
It's the
Yeah.
next
Okay.
book.
Well, spoiler.
Aiden and Vasek sort of debate whether or not to kill Ming at the end of this book. That was where they started. So they defect in the next one, but they decide whether or not it's worth. I mean, look, they would have saved a whole lot of problems if they'd agreed to do that in this book. But
Yeah. But I like that they didn't.
Yeah.
So we get more.
Actually, the other thing in relation to the arrows in this book, because there's a lot of talk about the arrows being on Jax, like Judd was, and it's the one where Judd gets. Is it Judd who gets the details? Oh no, the ghost tells Judd where to find the arrows who've actually been taken off Jax.
Right. Yeah.
Which sort of plays into things a little bit later on, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm because I've already read in advance for the first time. I love how the arrows are just like, we get different scenes with arrows, and I mean they've started doing that here, and I love like getting a glimpse of what they're doing, like, because whatever each faction or each group, whether they're the villains or the people in the gray areas, it just reveals something for future books. Like the ghost, I think it was I can't remember which book, but I think it was one of the books where Judd said that he's never seen the ghost's face, because it was just an understanding that, I'm going to trust you, so I'm not going to look at your face. And even the story about the priest, he gets his own little backstory. Which doesn't really affect the whole plot, but it gave us a glimpse of how deadly this Psy is, and how they're really detached from their feelings. They don't really, there's just, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna kill you, and you're done in like a second. And that was
I think that little alliance between Father Perez, the ghost, and Judd it's sort of the precursor to the bigger alliance that sort of happens at the end of Play of Passion as well, where you suddenly get all of these factions actually sitting down and talking to one another, and it just starts off with these three, and you sort of know where Judd and Father Perez's alliance is, but the Ghost is sort of the unknown. But I really like the Ghost as a character.
I'm
like trying to figure out who the Ghost is, and like I have theories, but I'm just like,
I have theories. I have two people.
Just like I know.
I have two people in mind. But I may be wrong. But very, I mean,
I really like the I forgot which, is it in the second book? Or not the second book, the 8th book, Max's book, where we see like Lucas and Sasha. And you get like flashes between them and then like what's happening and oh, okay.
Yes, because they have a baby.
I love it so much.
Oh my god.
Anytime when I get to see them, I'm happy.
Yes, like they're always there. And I really love that because we're already way past the leopard pack. The Dark River. We're way past the Dark River pack, but we still see them. And you know, sometimes Vaughn pops in and out. I don't like him. But I mean, he's still possessive. Every time he pops in and Faith is there, you can tell. But I still love that we have them. And then it's this book where, this is the book, right? The Bonds of Justice, that we get Nikita and her, what is she? She's
I'm loving Nikita's like character development. It's making me happy.
It is. I mean, it was because this was Nikita's book. So I mean, not Nikita's book, but Nikita played a huge part in this. And she gave a book to Sasha about the empath, the Eastside, and I was like, so you mean to tell me she knew all along and she's been.
And that's really important for book 10 as well. That
they talk about that in book 9, that she knows that it's like a thing in her family.
Because he said, does it skip every other generation? And she's like, sure, So I'm thinking, she's got more E in her than she wants to let anybody know.
I think she already knew that Sasha had the E designation, and she was like, I'm going to do everything to protect my kid.
And her alliance with Brunch Daddy makes me so happy.
I know, Anthony. Oh my gosh. And Anthony's
I love him.
We need more Anthony in these books.
We do. We really do.
Yeah, Nikita. Nikita's just, I mean, wow. For her, so she has an alliance with Anthony, and then they're talking about Caleb, and she's like, Caleb's a little bit, I don't know about him, right? He's fringe. Because we need to remember he was the protege of Enrique.
And he touches the dark net.
Oh, he touches it. He touched it when he was 8.
I love Caleb because he's just you cannot tell where he is.
No.
Anywhere. And his book is the Morality Chain book, and it's so good because of that. Because he's just you can't tell what he's going to do or who his alliance is to at any given point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about Bonds of Justice? So that
we're kind of like fading in between the two. I didn't know that J-Psy were a thing, and I'm just like, what? Did they just make this up? Or they're like, we need cop Psy?
Well, a lot of Psy are cops. Or sorry, a lot of the cops are Psy. They're not necessarily J-Psy.
Yeah.
But
For Max, I don't know if does he have Psy in his family tree,
Yeah, I think he does.
right? Because he
Yeah, I
can-
think they said that. I think they did.
Like, they said it was like pretty far back or something.
Yeah, pretty far back.
yeah, because
He has a natural immunity to Psy.
he does. I was a little mad about this because I wasn't really invested in the relationship, but I liked, you know, I like that for once we're not talking about the side. They're like, we're hunting serial killers, da 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 da. An unrelated human serial killer and
Oh yeah, it was nice to have a serial killer that wasn't Psy. It sounds really weird, but like it was.
with
See,
high tendencies.
I really liked Sophia, and I liked this idea of Psy going vigilante.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how
Just
it's
taking
just
them out.
and it's just accepted that they'll do it, and people don't talk about it because they don't go after innocent people.
Right.
Because it was just this really great morally grey thread through the story, and also because she's knows she's got a time limit on her time there, that she really doesn't care.
Yeah,
She doesn't care. Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be done, and and we meet her. She's almost there.
Yeah,
and she knows it. Like she's like, well, I'm done in like maybe a year.
Yeah, and she's like, I want to experience everything. Well, Max, you're human. I want to experience everything.
Yeah, and it's convenient that she can touch him without worrying about feeling all the feelings.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be erased. Rehab.
Oof.
Yeah.
The final rehab.
It's just, it's creepy.
It is creepy.
And her story is also freaking sad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she gets almost killed when she was 9 in camp by this random psycho teacher. And she gets abandoned by her parents.
Yeah.
The Psy really don't have a huge bank of good teachers.
No.
There's a small number of them, but
geez,
some of them are terrifying.
But Walker is a teacher.
I know, that's what I mean. Small number. He's a good teacher.
I like Walker.
The rest of them seem to be terrible.
I'm reading book 10, and you're gonna love Walker more.
Oh yay! I love Walker. I think he's so cool.
He has a lot of parts. He plays a huge huge part in book 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Well, Psy are just bad. Is this the book or was it the previous book where everybody gets where the Psy Council is? Was it the previous book? Oh, I can't remember anymore.
In this one, Nikita's advisors keep getting killed.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Which is why Max and Sophia are brought on to work with her, which is why we see so much of Nikita.
Because she's like, why are all my people dying?
Right?
Fix it. Find
Stop
out.
it.
I like that Sasha is meeting with her.
Yeah.
Because she, I think she's slowly coming to terms with Nikita and what she experienced when she was young, and she's trying to, I think she's slowly understanding.
She's trying to understand her mother and why her mother did.
Yeah,
she's
especially because we find out that she's pregnant, and she's like, "Mom, your grandchild."
One of the funniest scenes in this book is when Lucas finds out that Sasha went to Nikita's building with Dorian, and that neither of them told him.
Yeah, and he's just like, I can't get mad right now. I can't get mad right now.
And I just love Dorian's attitude through the whole thing. It's like, yeah, because he'll do anything that Sasha asks him to do, and even if it means not telling his alpha.
Dorian is one of my favorite people. He's great.
Yeah.
Every time he comes into they're like levity of some sort every time he enters.
I mean, every character is special except Vaughn. Every character is special.
Everyone's special except for Vaughn. I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like Vaughn.
I'm okay with Vaughn.
I think he serves a purpose in the greater story, but I think on his own, he didn't carry a book as well as some of the others did.
No.
That's the only difference.
Yeah,
If we had him in smaller doses, I think we might be less inclined to go. Except for Vaughn.
I will say I feel kind of the same way about Riley in that, like, I literally can't remember anything that happened in that book at all. That's like, that book was just so not memorable to me.
Yeah.
But this is
Are you trying to read it?
No, that's
I
Drew's.
can't remember. Oh my god!
No, but Drew is the fun brother. Riley was the one who had to raise all of them. So
yeah,
right.
I love Drew.
Well, he's on vacation, so
Well, he is on vacation.
Riley's on vacation.
He needs a vacation. Let's be real.
I didn't realize how high up Riley was in the hierarchy until Drew and Indigo's book, when they were describing like the power dynamic. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that he was like literally the number 2 person.
Yeah.
And even for Drew, I didn't realize that he was the tracker. I mean, he was the tracker, but I didn't know that in the grand scheme of the hierarchy of their pack, he wasn't really up there.
He's like at the side. He's like detached from.
He's sort of parallel to the hierarchy.
Like him and Judd were essentially like outside of the hierarchy, but his personality makes it to where people don't care, and Judd's personality made it to where they needed to place him somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Judd is a good ally to have.
Judd is a good ally to have. And all I can think about is their book now, the Drew and Indigo's book.
Right, this book.
Yeah, that book.
Oh my god, older woman, younger man.
Yeah.
See, when people said that, I was like thinking like 10-year difference. There's like 4 years difference.
No, there's just
and I was like,
difference.
That's really minor.
I actually don't know. How old is Drew?
I forgot their age.
Yeah,
like
26, maybe?
No, I think she's 28. And
he's like 24?
24. Yeah, I remember them saying 24 at some point.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's not really that much older than him, but I love that in the hierarchy, she's high up.
Yeah, she's about the same level as Riley, is what they said, right?
Yeah,
right.
And I think part of that makes her feel older as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is
Drew is more his personality is more chill, surfer dude, chill, and he's
like the class clown.
Yeah, but he's the aggressor here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love him wooing her. Like all of the things he does to woo her just makes me so happy.
Chocolate kisses. Was this the one?
And the flowers.
Yeah. And the flowers, and then like the whole path,
and the
like
cheesecake,
and the cheesecake, and the little teddy bear that looks like his wolf.
Oh yes! Oh my god! And invite you to a dinner, a party, a going away party. This book was pretty hot, pretty steamy, and so good. I love that they included their the younger changelings, and like how because Indigo is training everybody, and how we need to rein them in or they're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's the first scene, right? That was really touching. Where they're trying to calm one of the changelings who couldn't control.
Yeah.
I like Drew as the tracker, because it has like this nice dichotomy of like him being like the fun loving, like let's take bets on random fights that break out, And then also like I want to track people so they don't kill other people.
Mhm.
I liked when Indigo actually realizes that he's almost actively cultivating that personality so that people aren't wary of him because of his job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because he goes out of his way. I mean, and like one of my favorite things that we learnt about him was how he spent time building up a relationship with the Lauren kids by basically plying them with
I
sugar.
loved him and Sienna.
Yes.
So much.
Because they've got a really
like,
good sibling
Hawk
relationship.
is seething because
He's like, how did you become friends with Sienna? It's like
Right.
bribery and persistence. And I was like, that's how I make all my friends. Isn't that like,
right.
isn't that how normal people do it?
And because their sister married Judd, or is mated to Judd, I don't know if they're really married yet, but they treat the Lauren kids as their siblings.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, especially in Sienna's book, because they never had a family.
Yeah.
And we know more about that. You know, we will know more about Sienna in book 10, but they essentially didn't have a family, and it's really sad.
Yeah. I really like Drew and Sienna's relationship. Like when I saw that he was like, hey, and like giving her hugs, and she was just like, whatever. And I was like, oh, I like it.
I know. Yeah. And Hawk was like,
was it Hawk's perspective when he was like, why is he touching her? She doesn't like to be touched.
Yep.
And then she ended up hugging him back, and he was just like, wait, what is happening?
And it was all casual. It was casual, and
I love it. He's like, well, he said I'm too old, or he's too young to be an uncle, or something like that. So
right.
I was like, that's great.
Be with their big brother.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm looking at my notes. I'm trying to remember the other things I was going to say.
I know. Let me pull up my notes. I still have some of them.
Oh, I know what I like. Isn't this the book where Judd gives Drew dating advice?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. I love it. And he's like, what do you know about dating? And he's like, I'm mated. And I was like, oh, snap.
But Drew sort of pays that forward in the next book as well, because he ends up giving Sienna advice as well.
Oh, that'll be fun. I'm excited for that book. I'm going to start it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through.
Do it.
I'm going to stop.
Do it. It's really so good. And if you like Walker, you're going to love him here.
I love Walker.
Yeah, I do so.
Yeah. I'm almost done.
Does anybody else play the game Who's the Craziest Counselor on the
Henry.
Absolutely.
Henry is the craziest counselor. It changes every book, right? But
but I think
Ming's the most dangerous. Tatiana's a follower. Shoshana is sort of being pushed to the side at the minute, and Henry is just
he's taking over, and he has plans.
Oh my god, he has so many plans. Oh my gosh, and when they were like giving all of the pure Psy pamphlets away, like to everybody, like they were like, you don't want to mix, do you? And everybody else was just like, what is wrong with you? Like, which I thought was great, that the Psy are like, no contamination, and the other guys are just like, this is weird. Crumple, throw away.
But I think Henry's the most dangerous because he's fanatical.
In
his belief.
No, he was already saying that he was going to kill his wife. Like he knew it was either him, her, or me. I'm going to kill her first.
Yeah.
You know,
he's been saying that for a couple books now.
Well,
he's really going for it.
He only keeps her around because she's useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now. And they're supposed to be the most human because they're married, and both of them are in the council, and they're the face of the council, but you know, craziness.
Can I also just say that I loved the scene where they're out everyone's out camping, And to push Drew and Indigo's buttons, Hawk brings Maria to the camp.
Yes.
Just to push their button. Like he knows what he's doing.
He
And he
knows.
knows that nothing's going to happen, but Indigo gets so jealous, and Drew's just being really nice.
Yeah, I love that.
And Maria
Drew
comes
is
up
like,
in the next book as well. But
No, but I love
I do
that.
love Drew. That he's just like, hey, like, do you want to talk about it?
yeah, he's such a nice guy.
I think he is. I think that's why he's the tracker too.
Yeah. Well, and they say he's always had this innate ability to find his fellow pack members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's always just been like had like this really deep connection to his pack.
Yeah.
Which I think also helps to cultivate his image of like fun-loving dude, because he is.
Yeah.
He is. And he actually, in his book, he's still affected by what happened to Brenna, because he couldn't keep her safe.
Yeah.
And that's his job. That's his role in the pack, to keep everybody safe. And he couldn't do that for his sister.
Riaz went on a date. Sorry,
Riaz.
Izzo went on a date.
Riaz.
Which is important, because this book sets up book 11.
Yeah, he has a
Riaz
book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Riaz's
didn't know
book is
that.
book 11.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna read what's got been happening in his book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say. Well, actually, no. You get both people in for Riaz's book in this book, but it's not explicitly stated, because all it says is that Riaz has found his mate and she already has a partner.
Oh yeah, it said that she was married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, because Indigo was like, yeah, I guess I'll try like dating him because he's safe, and then he's like, I have a mate, but I can't be with her.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah. Oh, and he didn't like dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always order dessert. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
To be honest, the reoccurring cheesecake theme was just delightful.
Yeah.
It is.
I was happy that I'm not a cheesecake person, so that I wasn't just constantly craving cheesecake reading that book. Because
I'm a cheesecake person.
Like if they were like Sundays, I would just constantly be like, I want a hot fudge sundae so bad. But no, it's cheesecake. No, we're good. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I did have cheesecake. It was, their book it's also slow burn, but it's a little, it moves fast. I mean, their relationship moves fast, but it's still slow.
Yeah.
If that even makes sense.
So it's been like 3 years, right? Because the Lauren children got there when she was barely 16, and now she's 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing with this, I mean, the big thing with this book is addressing the hierarchy with Indigo and Drew, and Indigo reconciling that with being in a relationship. And I liked it when Mercy came back and they could kind of talk about it a little bit, being of a similar rank.
Yeah, but because Mercy's different, because her mate is from the other.
Yeah.
Well, Mercy's from the other, but
they're different packs. So like there's no like direct hierarchy challenge, because they're like the same level, just in different packs.
But they've got the same dominance level.
Yeah,
and Drew is like a giant question mark, because Riley was like, his power like is just kind of growing still, so we don't know where he's gonna end up.
Yeah.
And Indigo is very ruled by the pack hierarchy, just because that's what she's grown up with.
Yeah, because she used to be Hawk's playmate.
Yeah, they're the same. I didn't realize they're the same age.
So
I thought Hawk was a little bit older.
I thought Hawk was
in his early 30s.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
You're right. I think you're right. No, I think like Hawk's.
He's
right. I just know that like Hawk, Riley, and Indigo are like generally
they're about
the same age. But I think Indigo is a little bit younger. Riley is probably close to Hawk's age. And the age does matter, because Sienna is.
Yeah.
Talk
But
about
there's-
age gap. Next one.
Sienna and Hawk's age gap is about 10 years for memory. But I can't
But
remember
then
the. I tried to look for Hawk's age in book 10, but I couldn't find it.
Well, in Sienna, in Sienna's book, she's already 20.
Yeah.
So
but
but
also
about 30, 31.
Yeah.
Right?
And I suppose next time, because it is in book 10, we'll probably talk about it, is the fact that the senior wolves in Snow Dancer, it's a very young leadership.
Yeah, which they briefly went over that when Indigo was talking to Hawk.
Yeah.
They were like, it's a trap for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we've been through dark times. And like, they like kind of touched on how their pack is.
Yeah.
And you get the story about in the next one.
Okay,
yeah, I really want to know about Hawk's backstory, what happened to his parents.
You haven't got to that yet?
I'm
haven't gone
assuming,
to that part yet.
my assumption, having not read it, is that like something happened and basically like some group took out their pack. So it was like the three musketeers were like off to defend, and then this like struggle for power. But I don't think like Riley and Indigo weren't about leading, so they like had Hawk do it.
Yeah. No, well, the one, and look, it's not so much a spoiler because it's just part of the story, but Hawk became alpha of the pack at 15.
Oh, okay.
So that's
very young.
So it took out all of the adults. Basically, what happened took out all of the adults.
Oh, wow.
So it was a very, very young group of people having to lead the pack.
It makes sense now why they're so secretive, like why there's like tunnel mazes to get to their place.
Yeah. And he's very protective of everything.
It's mentioned a little bit, like throughout book 10, but I haven't gotten to the part where they actually reveal why. Yeah. There are bits and pieces sprinkled through the first part.
Yeah, you do get the whole story, and it.
Yeah.
We talk about all our heroes having heartbreaking backstories, so we are not disappointed.
All of them.
Yeah. In that regard.
The little stuffed animal that like Drew will occasionally sleep with was so cute, by the way. Like,
yes.
Oh, yeah. But I was a savage kid, and that was so sweet.
What his interaction with Indigo's mom, I love all of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of them.
And again, the I find it really fascinating because of all the lieutenants and all of the sentinels, it's Mercy and Indigo who still have stable family units.
Mm-hmm.
And they have families actively involved. So
yeah,
I liked it. And I liked Indigo's conversation with her mum around the fact that her mother is a submissive wolf and Indigo is not. And her childhood growing up with a dominant father as well.
Yeah.
And then like the dichotomy of her mom and her aunt.
Yes. And also why, because Adria is the reason why Indigo is really reluctant to get into a relationship with someone else who is less dominant than she is, because of the resentment that Adria and what's his name, Martin has for Adria.
Yeah. Agreed. I was just like, when I saw that relationship, I'm like, that's not a healthy relationship.
Right.
No. But I love Drew so much.
And also the mention of Indigo's sister Evie. She pops up in book 10 too.
I can't wait to see her. I wanna like properly have scenes with her.
She's really only a periphery character, but I love her. And I love how she's just written into the story. She's just there. So
absolutely, Tracy.
Yes, he did. Very big slap. And I like at the end how we just have that alliance between the two changeling packs, Nikita and Anthony, and they're all in a room.
Yes, I love it. I love it
so much.
So good. I also love that Anthony's son that they had talked about in Faith's book is back, like is there with them, and I'm just like, Yay!
Tanique? I think it is.
I don't remember.
Oh, and also
I don't remember his name too.
Yeah, and Max and Sophia are always there to back Nikita up.
Well, they have an interesting relationship with Nikita.
Yeah.
But Nikita is just, I hope she gets more book time because I want to know more about her. Especially now that she gave this book and then like Sasha's like, why didn't you give me this book? But she also can't have a deep connection or a relationship with Sasha other than business because he's in the council.
Yeah.
And she can't
But her
show.
but her bombshell in this book was that she doesn't support silence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was
surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Oh, I do love. I think it was in Bonds of Justice when Sasha was like, "I'm pregnant." Her mom's like, "Yeah, I know."
Right?
Like it's obvious.
No kidding.
It was good. She met with her to let her know.
Yeah.
Like she's
And
like,
to
"I'm
confront her
having a baby." She's like, "It's not news," and I was like, "Oh."
Aw.
But I think, their relationship is complicated, but I think they have, like, Nikita has her own way of trying to show that she cares about her daughter. And half the time
Without
it's hormone so that she doesn't interfere.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, because she can't. I mean, she's part of the council. And you can see the council are cannibalizing each other.
Yeah. The council is crumbling. And
it's crumbling, and you can tell.
It's really the ominous thing that all of the F-Psi now are like, there's gonna be blood and destruction, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
like all F-Psi without fail have had at least one vision of this.
Yeah. Didn't Faith say that too?
Yeah, Faith was like, oh my gosh, there's so much blood, and like the catalyst was Sophia, but I don't know if the catalyst changed because Sophia was saved. Well, but apparently that's still a thing that's going to happen.
Well, and they're still connected to the PsyNet. And
to the PsyNet.
I don't know how but it feels like her consciousness is rooted. Like if she's
an anchor, so she can't.
She can't. Yeah. And I love how I'm not going to trust you because you're still connected to the PsyNet.
But they can. The PsyNet like ciphers
information. Isn't bad, and both of the Netmind and the Dark Mind actively work to protect Sophia in the book, and her shields. The thing that I really liked was when her shields actually changed to become more efficient because they need her to be stable, so they
I liked that
work around that, and I thought that was really interesting, and I'm actually surprised we didn't get Caleb's anything to do with Caleb around that because he would have picked up on it with how entwined he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I like that her shields are now essentially like a hurricane and she's in the eye of it.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
Nobody can penetrate. Yeah, I think that's what they kind of said. And I remember now in this book, what's his name? Caleb does play a huge role here.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that he came out to save somebody.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
I was too.
Right? I was surprised.
When it was like the person who came in was Caleb, I'm like, I'm sorry, the person is Caleb?
Yeah, that's what I said.
But part of that is Caleb's loose alliance with Nikita. And that's what I mean when Caleb is this, like, he's a character you never know what he's going to do, because you wouldn't expect him to come out and help save Sophia, but he did. But he did it in his own way, which would be probably not the way Max would have done it.
Right. I mean, he was just
he just ripped out what he needed to know from the serial killer's head, and that was it.
And then dead.
Yeah.
I think Sophia's in the net, but not in the net, because both sides of the net are protecting her because they know that she'll get destroyed if they don't, but they need her. Because it's a sentient entity. It's
Yeah.
like if this anchor is destroyed, we're in like the entity itself is in trouble.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, we've had the parts of the story where Caleb and Nikita have discussed the fact that parts of the PsyNet are breaking down, and I think we've been told that the empaths are important to the stability of the net. We now know that the anchors are important to the stability of the net, and we start to get more of that. Like once we move past I think from book 12 onwards, it's got more of a Psy focus in terms of how that all works and how these characters actually can stabilize what's going on.
Right, because I think the overall arc of this whole world is basically the Psy and their silence, and what they're doing and what's going to happen. Since it's because prior to Silence, I found a date. It's 1972.
Yeah.
Where Silence started.
Yeah.
But because prior to Silence, everybody there were Psy.
Yeah.
And they're slowly dying out because we're in the future and nobody has been needing the Psy. So
well, it was hang on, I've got to go back to my notes. So in Blaze of Memory, when we found out the people who left the PsyNet, so the Forgotten who left the PsyNet, they were mostly telepaths, possibly some empaths. There were Psy who had medical abilities, some foresight and something else. And they were all abilities that would be detrimentally impacted by silence. Because they couldn't actually do their job effectively under silence. Whereas I know they talked about silence was beneficial for the telekinetics because they couldn't necessarily control their powers and they were more dangerous than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And so I like how that was built up and sort of explained, because that would explain why the Forgottens or the descendants of the Forgotten, how their powers evolved as well.
Yeah.
Who is it? The kid that they saved who has like the siren voice?
What's his name?
The main plot point of like book.
Yeah. It's not Nora John. Cruz. Oh no, Cruz is telepathic.
It was, oh my gosh, what is his
Cruz
name?
is
John.
Oh yeah, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, because he has a siren voice essentially. And that's just like a weird thing that developed over time. And I'm like, what could that have evolved from?
Yeah.
Where it's just like he talks and people are like compelled
to follow.
Listen. Yeah.
Or listen.
I think it's partially empath, I would think, because they said that empaths can like control RVs.
Right. Probably.
Well, Sasha should be capable of stopping a riot.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Practicing, right?
She was trying. She was trying really hard. She did it once with juveniles.
Yeah.
Like by accident. She did it once with juveniles by accident.
She was like, no idea how I did that.
Panic makes all things magnify, but you can never repeat it.
Oh, Sasha, she's really nice.
I love her. I think she's my favorite female character. Sasha is my favorite female character.
She's just, I don't know. And I still love her and Lucas.
Yeah.
Number one couple. Solidly in first place. Number one couple.
Their relationship is really well balanced, in my opinion. Because now that I'm reading Hawk and Sienna's, I mean, Sienna is powerful, really powerful, and but Hawk is the alpha.
Yeah. He's
the
alpha.
Older. He's the alpha, and he's older. So,
yeah, I like how they find their balance, though.
I don't know how they find their balance. Don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. Because I was going to say, I think Sienna is my favorite because she is so young and because of what she went through.
Yeah.
Sienna's backstory is extremely sad.
But we won't say anything about that because we haven't got there yet.
I mean, like, we've heard a little bit about the Lawrence's backstory before, like the vague overview of their backstory, because why they're at Snowdancer in the first place.
What you get in the next book, and it's probably one of my favorite things about the book, is you get the detail of it and why they didn't leave sooner.
Yes,
and that was heartbreaking. Why they did it, because what that did was it put Sienna in the position that she was in. Mm-hmm. But there was a reason why they couldn't do it. And it's just, you just read it and it's like...
And the kids, they were young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yes. We have to save something to talk about for next time.
Yeah. What was...
We'll talk about that next month. But,
oh my God, Charles is here.
Charles!
Hey.
We have to let him in.
Oh, hold on. Just a second. Let me get him. Why can't I do
it? You took too long. Your time is gone.
Sorry, Charles.
Hello.
Hey.
So I know I'm super late. I'm sorry. I had a thing that ran over that you guys will see soon. So it was for good use.
Sure.
Hey.
So I was just about to say, star rate your books. So Charles, do you want to start?
Okay.
We didn't star rate them.
I haven't rated them yet, but I'm gonna be a little bit controversial. Okay. I would say, like, I find myself wanting something different from the book. They're like not bad, but I'm not. They're like becoming like 3 stars for me. And it's not anything against the books. It's just like my reading. I'm like kind of like in a little bit of a reading funk right now. So I'm like extra hard on a lot of books I read. Like books I normally would have loved. I was like, I guess like I want different things. So like with these books, I was like, okay, like I like them. Like maybe if I took a second and just reread them again, I probably would be like, oh yeah, why did I hate these? Why was I hating on these so much?
Well, I think
it's like Save a Sensation. I was like, that's my book. I was like, I need another book like that. And I got kind of close, but then I was like, yeah, it's like more like what I want isn't exactly what the author was going to give it. And it's like my fault for setting my expectations up, if that makes any sense.
I think that some of the books are kind of filler.
I will say these 3 set was probably the weakest 3 set we've had so far for me. So like I'm kind of there with you.
Yeah, we didn't share our star rating yet.
We haven't. No. We were waiting for you.
Oh. I promise what I was doing, you guys will see on April 14th. On April 15th. You will see what I was doing. So like you have a video to look forward to.
You are the busiest person.
You really are.
Definitely.
Right, Charles?
I always see like scheduled live shows for Charles, and I'm just like, how? Why?
Yeah, they're all on a line on mine. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You just schedule all your live shows at once, and I was like, well, okay then.
Yeah. I gotta keep the plans going.
I know. I think I still owe Charles a video. Sorry.
You do. I was like, you messed up the schedule, man.
I'm sorry. I'm now back to work like in person / work from home, and Friday was a non-work from home because we had training 2 days. So I hated it. And apparently California, LA traffic specifically is now back to normal.
Oh no.
It doesn't take long.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's been like when Charles messaged me yesterday, I'm like, I literally just got home and I still have some stuff to do. So I was like, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But back to the books because I don't want to spoil it because Steph knows too.
Oh yes.
All right.
But star ratings, I gave all the books 2.5.
That's fair.
All of them?
I love Drew though.
Just a 3. I'm just saying, like, because like it was just like where I was at. I'm not saying that they're bad books. Like there's things I enjoyed, but I was like, for me, like the overall plot I wasn't connecting to as much.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, okay, we're building up this war, silence may be ending. Yeah. Like for me, like it was just like I wasn't invested going into it. I was just kind of like, oh, so I will give it a 3 on Goodreads, but like I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Like I get why people love it. It's just like it didn't work for me this time.
Yeah, I think
I tend to are a bit of a sidestep as well in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Megan is right. This 3 set is not like the best.
No. I think
we've been lucky in the past.
I think I'd give Devs like a high 2, and then Bonds of Justice like a 3, and then I give like a probably a 4 to the last one because I just love Drew so much. Yeah, Drew is my favorite. That's like literally it, just because of Drew.
Yeah, it is hard to start this set with Dev's book, actually.
I know, but I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, my ratings were, I was 4, 4, and 5 for mine, but I mean I've said it before. I'm not reading it for the first time, so I'm looking at
right. Even Bonds for Justice for me was a 3.5 because I felt really like a filler. And I think this book was just what was added so that we get more Nikita and a little bit of Caleb.
I mean, but I do love them. My brain just
I love Bonds of Justice just for more Nikita being Nikita.
Yeah, Nikita.
I love Nikita.
I think she needs to get her own book, or at least be like a prominent character in one of the books. Yeah. And then this one was a 4 for me. Yeah,
that was the age gap, older heroine, right?
Yeah, but it was 4 years.
Not that much. I think it's more older heroine, and people latched onto the fact that she was older than him rather than it being an age because it's not
my husband is 4 years younger than me. So.
Hey.
We're an age gap, I guess.
My spouse is 2 weeks younger than me.
Gary. Write a romance.
Yeah. I'm gonna write my romance.
Just change a couple of names. Just like slightly change your guys' name. So people can't trace it back to you.
Carrie, what did you rate the books? I don't think we got your ratings, Carrie.
Is 9 years older, so we're a Hawk and Sienna.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I was 21.
I'm frustrated.
Blaze of Memory, I did 4.5 stars because it made me cry so bad at the end. Because I thought she was going to kick it for real.
That's what made me.
I too thought she was going to kick it.
Bonds of Justice, I liked Max, so I gave that a 4.5 too. And then a 5 for Play of Passion.
I will say I do like how just everyone hits on Max.
Yeah.
Apparently he's that good looking.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
I don't know. We don't see his face in the cover. Come on.
You don't.
You see his face in Steph's covers.
I know, but they look the same. He looks like a Psy.
Well, he's descended from a Psy, sort of.
Yeah, his mother is a Psy. I think I wrote it in my notes. Did they mention that his mom is a Psy?
Was his mom a Psy?
No, I think she's part Psy.
Part Psy.
I think it goes back further than that.
Okay, because I was like, as a group.
Yeah, but in the same way that Lucas is part Psy.
Yeah, Lucas is part Psy.
I think it was his grandmother.
I thought it was his great-grandmother.
Or great-grandmother.
Or something.
Something.
See, I was just going to
say. Enough to feel the vibrations.
Yeah. I was really hoping that the next book that comes out, Last Guard, was going to be a Nikita book, but it's not.
Aww.
But it does have another anchor, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Is it weird that in my head I'm shipping Nikita and Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
I ship that too.
So I was just like, I ship it. I'd be down for that book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I think because Anthony we don't really know a lot about Anthony as much as we know about Nikita, but I think he knows because he's been protecting Faith already. Mm-hmm. So
I was still in shock when he became a council member. Like, I forgot where they announced it, but I was like, what?
It was, I think it was in book.
Was it in this set?
Was it in 7? Or was it in 6? No, it was in one of the more recent books, I think.
Yeah. We also know where his allegiance lies.
Yeah, but that's why I was shocked that he was. That's why I was shocked that he was a council member, because I'm like, that's a bold step, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he's really powerful in his own right.
It's true. That's why they let him in, because
that's why they let him in. I think it was in book 5. I think it was in book 5 that they let him in.
Well, he's powerful because of the little empire that he's built up as well.
The Night Star Empire.
Yeah. I actually can't remember whether they said, because I don't think he's a Foreseer.
No, he's not. They said he wasn't. He just runs the group, the Foreseer group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there was a I think he found someone else's genes to make a Foreseer.
Yeah.
Because I think it runs in his family.
It runs in his family.
Mm-hmm.
That's why his son, they wanted his genes, even though he's not one, because it runs in his family. So they were hoping for one. And his son didn't end up being a Foreseer, but he was something else that was just as marketable. So they were like, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess his son chose to become a Night Star.
He's a psychometric.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You touch things and you know what their history is.
Okay. And his
memory.
I guess his son now chose Night Star when he became of age, because now he's with the Night Star group.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh man, I bet his family that was like, here's our contract, was like, well, that was kind of a waste.
Yeah.
Right.
We still get part of his profits or whatever, right? I think they were explaining that in one of the Psy stories.
Yeah.
How profits and family work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it. I can't remember. What happened to Carrie?
She said she got
maybe connection drop.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Seth, will the next 3 books turn me into an Eleni stan?
Yeah.
I'm just I'm waiting for.
I don't like Hawk and Sienna's story.
Yeah.
I was saying to the others before, if I didn't love Judd as much as I love Judd, this Kiss of Snow would be my favorite book in the series.
Oh. Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
But I like it. You get Sienna and Hawk's story, but you also get Walker and Lara's story, and you sort of have the big attack from the Psy attack, the Changelings in this one. There's some really cool scenes in relation to that, and you finally find out what it is about Sienna's power that everyone's been sort of dancing around for the last couple of books.
Yeah.
And why she has trouble controlling it.
Okay.
We find out about that. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm interested.
Y'all keep hyping up Hawk's book, and I'm really scared it's not going to live up to the hype.
Oh, I love it, but I've read it before, so.
I think it will. I think it will live up to. The only thing is that it's a little it's steamy but slow.
Yeah.
So it's a slow burn?
It is a slow burn.
It's a 10-book slow burn, so.
But
okay.
It's a 10-book slow burn, and it's a slow burn in its own book.
But the other thing in it is it's really good at consent in it as well.
I do love a good consent book.
Consent, because there's a lot of scene. The reason it's slow burn is that neither of them rush into it, and once they actually get to a point where they're ready to acknowledge it, they don't rush it. And to me, I like that part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, power dynamic and age is huge.
Yeah, I felt like it was huge since they mentioned that like tension between them when she was underage.
Oh yeah, they already told us like in book 1. In book 1, when we first get a glimpse, and it was almost at the end of book 1, we got a glimpse of the Lawrence and then Hawk, and then I already knew that, oh my God, Hawk and Sienna is gonna hook up because it's their chemistries.
I think the thing that sells it for me is Hawk's backstory and the backstory of the Snowdancer pack and how they are, or why they are the way they are, and the Lawrence history and how that impacts both Hawk and Sienna is probably what sells that book to me. And then the other Heart of Obsidian is Caleb's story, and that's also really good.
Ooh.
I think Tangle of Need is possibly going to be the weakest.
Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
I figured it out.
I was like, you're the host of this live show.
Yeah, I was like,
Carrie.
we can't end without you.
You need to pull
It's
it
never
together.
gonna end.
Yeah,
It'll just go on forever.
Is going to be the weaker of the three, but not necessarily in a bad way.
Riaz's book, is that what you said is going to be the weaker of the?
Yeah,
but only because I think they're not characters that we're as invested in.
That's fair.
Right.
Whereas I think Hawk and Sienna and Caleb, they've just been building Caleb's story up.
I can't wait for Caleb. I didn't realize Caleb was in this next set.
Yeah.
So Caleb's book is book 12, and the blurb doesn't say anything about it.
Good.
Like
I want to know nothing.
The only
it's like 5 short.
Yeah. Well, why would it? Because he's a mystery. But it's a morality change story. So that's all you need to know about it.
I love a good morally gray character.
We're getting more of the Arrow books, right?
The Arrow books are in the last 3. So you get Vasik's book and you get Aiden's book, I think.
Which one is the teleporter? Is that Aiden?
That's Vasik.
Okay. Who's Aiden?
And then Aiden.
I don't know who that is.
The leader. He's the
leader.
Oh, the highest ranked.
Whenever we've had the two talking, it's usually Aiden and Vasik.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Aiden, I don't think it's Abbott. I think it's Aiden.
So now I have 3 people that I think who the ghost is.
Ooh.
I mean, I haven't read it, but I think it's Caleb, Vasik, or Aiden.
I also think it's Caleb.
But I strongly Caleb. I think it's Caleb strongly.
I genuinely think it's Caleb. I think it's Caleb.
Yeah,
I feel like it has to be a teleporter.
Well, Vasik is a teleporter.
So it has to be
very strong teleporter.
Either Caleb or Vasik. It has to be a teleporter. Like that's my feeling is that it has to be a teleporter. Don't tell me if I'm wrong. Or if I'm right. Yeah, hide your face. I've been since day one. I was like ghost Caleb. Like full stop. That's my thought. If it's not Caleb, I will be genuinely surprised.
They said Caleb is he's looking for something, right? Or somebody, but they are not saying what it is or who.
Yeah, that one thing when I was like, oh, he's helping people. That one moment, I was like, oh, there's a person.
In book 10, there's a scene where like Caleb accesses something that nobody has really access to. So he's powerful.
So the reason I think it's Caleb is because he had that like this is for you scene in Bonds of Justice. Mm-hmm. And then when Judd talked to the ghost, he was like, you won't do anything drastic if you have at least one person you love. And I was like, I think that's like a parallel thing. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if I'm right, I guess. Eventually,
the blurb for Caleb's book does not mention who his who the heroine is, and who even the hero is. It's just blank. Like
you don't meet her.
I'm super down. I'm super down.
He's like, it's just like a dangerous, volatile rebel, hand-stained blood red, a woman whose very existence has been erased.
I'm super down.
Come on. Like, those are the two. I mean, there's more, but those are the first two sentences in that blurb. And I'm like, tell me more.
Right.
I mean, I really want to skip, but we can't skip.
No. I'm not reading ahead because I have a terrible poker face. So I'm literally sticking to the 3 books before we go to the next ones.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, is that his book? Is that him? Yeah. See, that looks like a sigh.
They all look like
sigh.
I do like those covers. I need to figure out how to get my hands on those.
Yeah, me too.
Probably Book Depository.
Yeah, probably Book Depository.
Smart. Yeah,
I would think
so. You have to do it from there.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah. I pulled the next 3 books out because I'm like, I just want to read them. I want to keep reading them.
Well, you're way ahead of all of us.
I already borrowed the 3 next books because I'm fast. Now
really?
I'm that fast. I'm almost done with book 10. And remember, historically, I'm like, I just finished the book. Like,
yeah, I was about to say, like, you're usually just finishing, and now you're like, now I'm like 2 books ahead of all. I was 2 books ahead. I'm like, okay,
I'm just 1 book ahead.
Whatever.
I can't go ahead because if I do, I have like a terrible poker face, and then I get everything mixed up. And it's just
I'm trying to.
It's okay, Megan. I get things mixed up even if I read the book like 2 days ago. Like if you ask me like basic questions, like if you ask me to give you a synopsis of all these 3 books, I'll be like, the story continues.
I literally can't remember
I can't
the
give you any
girl.
spoilers, obviously.
I can't remember the girl from Dev's book. I only remember that it's Dev's book.
Katya.
Katya.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what she renames herself.
I forgot. Katya actually broke silence in her book.
Well, Ming made her break silence.
Yes,
Talking about who's the craziest counselor. That book was definitely Ming. That book was all Ming. That was Ming being the craziest counselor.
Yeah. And then she shot him, and I'm like, "Oh, you missed!"
Right? I'm like, you should have killed, decapitated.
And then the arrows couldn't do their job and finish him off. They were like, "No, we'll let him heal."
He was still technically their leader in that book,
right? And I think that was a turning point.
And also that's a little bit of a signal that the arrows don't just kill everything.
It's fair. Did Caleb accept or no? I think Caleb did rejected their offer, didn't he?
He kept the arrow, right?
Because they gave him a box that was essentially we're offering you the leadership, and he returned it. Right
now they're leaderless. I think they're still leaderless. Like they're not connected to any of the council members yet.
But isn't it still assumed that they're still under Ming? They're
still assumed that they're still under Ming, but
no, Nikita and Anthony are questioning who will be the next leader because they know that they're not aligned to Ming anymore in book 9, but they don't know who they'll accept. They think it'll be either Aiden, Vasek, or Caleb.
And Judd also mentioned, I can't remember where, but probably in, I think where he was talking about where there was that Will kid. I think he said that the arrows are loyal to their group, to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think even for Judd, he gave up that, he betrayed the arrow squad.
Because he chose family over?
Because he chose
I think so.
Because he defected. He left.
Yeah.
So so I think it was mentioned there that
you'll like the last scene in book 10.
I can't wait. I'm checking it out right now from my library.
Oh my God.
We're good. It's checked out.
So this book has deleted scenes.
Yeah, I got a couple of those too. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing.
I need to check them out. I just found out about that.
Do you know what I got super excited about? One of these books, I think it was Play of Passion, finally puts a cast of characters at the front of the book.
Really?
We need that. There's now too many people. I literally,
yeah.
Like when you were like the arrows have names, I'm like, they have names.
Yeah.
Like,
Cast of characters that way. Cast of characters.
Oh yeah, they do. I just have never looked at them.
For that.
Oh my god! Thank God, because I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Oh, SD Pup. Oh. Ben, SD Pup.
Oh, he is an SD Pup. He's the cutest SD Pup.
Hang on, we didn't talk about I know we talked about Ben earlier, but when Drew was sad and when he was shot, Ben kept giving him his toys.
Yes, that was the cutest thing in the whole wide world. I love Ben. I loved that when he was like, "You're sad. This guy makes me happy," and I'm just like, Ben. And then they're like, "He's gonna run out of toys soon. You need to wake up." And I was like,
Right?
Ben. His mama raised him right. He's the best boy ever.
Yeah. I love how Drew is so close to the pups.
Yeah.
I do too. I love that like the pups love him and he's just so playful with them.
Yeah.
But he still is like, I like that he's like hierarchy. So like when they're like growling at him, he's like, no. And then they're like, okay. And he's like, okay. And then they start playing again. And I'm just like, that's the sweetest thing in the whole wide world.
Oh my God. Now that I know these, I'm gonna Well, I didn't know that Mercy's last name was Smith.
Yeah. I also didn't know that Mercy's last name was Smith.
I didn't either.
That's so normal. Like we have Lucas Hunter because he's a hunter.
Oh my God. Yeah, Lucas Hunter is Hunter.
I mean, I guess they do have pretty normal names because like Sasha and Nikita's last name was Duncan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikita Duncan. Sasha Duncan. Shoshana Scott.
These are pretty typical names, actually, now that you're saying them.
Sophia Russo, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
So that's a legit non-paranormal name.
Yeah, I was like, none of their last names are paranormal names. They're just like going through a phone book and you're like, what's the most used name?
Right.
It's not a fantasy book, so thank God for that.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's an alt universe, and in this alt universe, people have powers and they have the normal names, apparently. Hawk. Oh, we don't get Hawk's last name. Hawk doesn't have a last name.
He's too cool for a last name. He's like Prince.
Yeah. He has a last name. I promise he has a last name.
He does not. What?
He has a last name. I'm not telling you what it is. You have to finish the book.
Oh,
I have to finish the book. Okay.
It's like the last line of the book.
Okay, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna.
Sorry.
Today.
No
one tell me. No one tell me. I'm gonna start the book as soon as we're
don't spoil me. I want to go into these next 3 books.
Fairly blind.
I don't want to be hyped up because then I'll be in the Discord where like everyone let me down with these books.
I'm with you there.
Like I give everything 1 star. I'm gonna go back and amend all my ratings. And 1 star the whole entire series.
No.
I wouldn't.
I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
All right. We want to announce the 3 books and the host and all of our times and such.
Mm-hmm. I think Ezra, you're next, right?
Yeah, but I don't know when we're gonna do it. Are we doing it on the 24th or May 1st? Because the 24th is the last
Saturday of the month.
Saturday of the month, but it might be too early.
And the 1st is the first Saturday.
Yep, the 1st is the first Saturday.
We can do that.
We can do the first, right? Okay, so it'll be same time, my channel, May 1st. But we're discussing our April books, which is Kiss of Snow, Tangle of Need, and Heart of Obsidian.
I forgot to bring Kiss of Snow with me.
I was like, are we missing a book?
There you go. There's Kiss of Snow.
I just felt like a 40-minute spoilery chat about it, and I'm like, it's on my bed. I forgot to bring it.
I know you have like a video for each book.
I'm gonna have to go through and binge those because I've been avoiding them because you put them up before I'm done reading the books. Yep. So now I have to just go back and binge. So
I know.
You have 2 months ago me giving comments to like Slave to Sensation. Just know that I'm like, oh, I need to catch up on these.
Yeah.
Well, I started them before we started the readathon. I started them last September, so that's fine.
Yeah, it actually works really great, and I just don't want to be spoiled. I mean, I'm pretty much okay with spoilers, but like for this one, this is the perfect series to not be spoiled.
No.
It's a solid series.
Yeah, it's solid. I agree.
All right.
Alright, any other lingering thoughts? Feelings?
No?
Nope. I think
I could keep talking about them, but it would just be me pulling random things out.
Yeah. It would just be my crazy conspiracies, and I have food right here, so I'm good.
Yeah,
and nothing will beat the bathing in sweat. So, yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'll schedule the live in early, probably tomorrow or sometime next week. So at least we'll have it on my channel, and I won't forget. Because I do forget. My God.
I promise I'll immediately to the next one.
Okay. We're going to hold you to it. All right.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay,
Thanks for hosting.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.